from this. I'm 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 from this.
Testing 1, 2, 3. To the hip, hop, the hip, the hip, the hip, the hop, and you don't stop rocking to the bang, bang boogie. Said up, jump the boogie. You are
To
now.
the rhythm, to the boogie to be.
Come on now. You already know what's going on worldwide. Where are you at on this beautiful day? Whether it's raining, sunshine, snowing, doesn't matter. If you take that great breath, man, you should be happy to be here. And we are happy to have you here on I'm From the Zoo. It's your man, Mike, Michigan, and my co-host, my man.
B-Dubb.
What's up, brother, man? Where you from, fam?
I'm from the zoo, baby. I'm from the zoo.
And I'm from the zoo too, man. We want to shout out to everyone out there in the zoo. Hey, look, if you are from Kalamazoo and you want to, you know your original zoo, you know how to holler at us. You know how to get at us, man. Get at me at WURK together. That's work together at gmail.com. You want to be on the show, you know what I'm saying? You want to holler at us, you want to do some advertising, you want to get with us, please reach out to us. We look forward to us. We want to thank all of the guests that we've already had on the show. Man, we have a dynamite show today, don't we, Dubb?
Yes, sir. We talking about history here. History.
Man, we gonna
foundation.
We gonna pump the brakes. We gonna jump on the railroad boxcars. We gonna get the graffiti going. We gonna get the break dancing going. We gonna get the DJing going. We gonna get the MC going. But first and foremost, we gonna take y'all to the source. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching all these different podcasts out here, man, and everybody got a nice vibe. But right here on I'm From the Zoo, you get into the source. Hey, before I get started, man, I just want to be a big shout out to KRS-One. Just saw him perform this last weekend, got the hook
He'll
up.
be on the show soon.
And let's pray for that definitely to happen, man. And shouts up to the Temple of Hip Hop. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce a very special guest, a very special friend of mine. I can say that. You know what I'm saying? Got the pleasure of, let me set this up for you, Dubb. I'm in Florida, bro. You know, me and my girl, we moved around quite a bit. Now I'm in Florida, Fort Walton Beach, Destin. Imagine white crystal sands, beautiful sunshines, man. Just like oceans and yachts and clear blue, aqua blue water and good food, you know, seafood if you like that, all this and that. And you're just not bothering and palm trees and clean, no garbage nowhere, right? And you just walking down the street, and all of a sudden you hear some doom 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 rock to the plant, and you just gravitating, you just and you get to this club, and it's literally this green room club. You walk in and you see this master on the ones and the twos. Literally a master on the ones and twos, just doing his thing. Nothing but him in the ether, in the air, in the bar, and just killing it. And I'm looking around like, where is everybody at? You know, because it's that kind of party, you know. But it's just this one incredible human being, right? So me and my girl, we sit there at the table and and the brother jams for about 3-4 hours. Duh. I mean, I'm talking about with some of the most incredible mixes and whatever you want. Man, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one, the only, Master. We're just going to call him Ice. Welcome in, Mr. Master Ice Bernard Hayward. To the
Yo, what's
What's
up,
up,
my
dog?
welcome, bro. Welcome to the show, brother.
what's up, my brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing terrific, man.
Ice.
It's great.
What up, Doug? What up? What up? What up?
What up, baby?
We have Master Ice from the Jazzy Five, man. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to I'm from the Zoo. Thank you for being here again, man.
No problem. Thank y'all for having me.
Now, look, we're gonna take it back to the beginning, man. I know that intro was crazy heavy, but that's exactly what I remember. And we're not gonna start there in Florida. We're gonna go back to we are from Kalamazoo. Where are you from, sir?
I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx, Soundview Projects, the pioneers
Mm.
of hip hop.
The pioneers of hip hop. Tell me about that. So you were born, and now when you were born before hip hop was. Can I say just a little bit?
Man, yeah, man. I was born in 1962.
Okay.
Um, I wasn't really, I can't tell you exactly when hip hop started. I know they had DJs throughout New York City outside playing music in the parks and this and that. I would say from the early 70s. Um, they have an actual date of when they say hip hop was born. You know, Cool DJ Hurt sometime in 73.
Mhm.
Um, in 73, I was 11 years old. So it wasn't like I was running around the Bronx, you know, going to different block parties. New York City was very dangerous at that time,
Right, right.
gang infested and this and that. So I didn't really get out until about 74, 75.
Okay.
And first DJs I had a chance to see were Disco King Mario and Cool DJ D and Tyrone the Mixologist. Um,
Technologies.
you know, and then a little bit later on, I got to check out Afrika Bambaataa, and then Kool Herc, because Kool Herc lived on a completely different section of the Bronx, you know. But my introduction to hip hop was first through tapes. You know, tapes were of Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Four MCs,
Right.
and DJ Breakout and Barrett and the Funky Four plus one. We talking Sha Rock, Raheem before he left the Funky Four and joined the Furious Four and made them the Furious Five.
Right.
Those were like my introductions to actual MCs and rapping and stuff like that. But the first DJs I saw were, like I said, Disco King Mario, um, which is ironic because he actually kind of introduced the world of Grand Wizard Theodore, and Busy Bee Starsky.
So,
And then a little bit later on,
yeah.
a good friend of mine, DJ Jazzy Jay, and my younger brother, MC Sundance, um, they both were down with Disco King Mario before they actually joined Afrika Bambaataa and the Mighty Zulu Nation.
That's one. Now I seen a now, that's fabulous, man. We gonna get. I mean, that's as royal as you can get to the source of information from the early pioneers of the hip hop. Okay, so you were saying you were about 12 years old, 74, 75, about that time when you started. There's a picture of you, when you have like these headphones on and you're DJing. So you kind of and we want to talk about your brother, and he was in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tell us about like in your family, like the musical influence and how your family was supportive of you getting into it. And then I want you to transition to that date and tell us how far were you from 1520 Sedgwick Avenue on August 11th, 1973. Tell us, like from when your early pioneer beginnings, when you actually started getting on and
Mm-hmm.
and eventually getting to the park, and then we'll get there.
Okay. Well, first, my family,
Mhm.
my mother and father, I grew up in a house of music. And I'm not talking about playing instruments, I'm talking about playing records. My mother was into, you know, Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington. So I had like a jazzy and a vocal training from her. But my father was into the funk. He's playing James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Motown, Stax. If it was funky, he was playing it. And it was funny because it was like every other Friday he got paid. He worked for the New York City Park Department. So
Okay.
he would get paid and he'd bring a bottle home and a bag of 45s. Those were the records, the little records back in the day.
Right.
and he put the 45s on and just play them. So I grew up listening, like I said, James Brown, Motown, Stax, the Meters, the funk.
Right.
My mom's would be playing whatever her soft music. He come in, okay, woman, it's Friday. And so at an early age, I just loved music because I saw my father and my mother dancing, and then some of the friends, some their friends that lived in the building or in the projects with us, they would come over and they have a good time. They dancing and this and that in the house, and so I actually remember at the age of maybe 7 or 8, my father came to me one day. He's like, "Okay, I want you to pick the records and put them on the record player." And at that time, you could put anywhere between 7 to 10 records on the record player, and one would drop and it would play, then the next one would drop, and so on and so on. And I picked the 10 hottest songs. And I guess this is my first lesson in DJing, because I knew what songs are hot. And
Right.
so I put the 10 hottest songs on there. After about 3 or 4 songs, the fifth song came on. My father's like, "Hey, you trying to kill us?" I'm like, "What you talking about?" He said, "Look, man." He said, "We gonna dance for 3 or 4, but then you got to give us some belly rubbing music, and then you got to give us another song where we could, chill out, and then another song so we could wake up, and then another song. Then we'll start the party again."
Right.
And I kind of carried that with me DJing. You get some guys that just kill you the whole night, where
Yeah.
you dead after the first hour.
Right.
Where just from that, I learned how to pace a party. You know, and then as far as, and then my older sister, she's 10 years older than me.
Okay.
So my father passed away in 1974. But by then, my older sister had already picked up the slack. She was listening to the Philly sound. So I got to listen to Blue Magic, the Stylistics. She was in the Bob Marley. She was in the Santana, Carole King, um, everything. Shaka Khan, the main ingredient. So that kind of built up my soul a
Right.
little bit more on the soul side. Marvin Gaye, what's going on the album, Stevie Wonder, you name it, everything. Um, and so by about 75, 76, 74, when I really started noticing the DJing and this and that, um, when 76 turned around, I knew I wanted to be a DJ. I had already seen a couple of DJs out, and so I asked my mother to buy me some turntables for Christmas, which she ended up doing. So I got my first set of turntables in 76. Um, I know Herc, where he was at, was like I said, was on a completely different side of the South Bronx. It might have even been the West Bronx. Um, I've been there before. I would literally say, I'm trying to equate it to
West Bronx.
I probably had to take 2 or 3 buses to get there.
Like, I've never.
And if it was a car ride, it might have been 45 minutes to an hour. For
Yeah.
which a 12, 13-year-old, that's like a day.
Right. Right. New York City
You-
is that big in the trenches. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, and then it's the hood, and like I said, see, back in those days, New York City was overrun with gangs. If
Right.
you've seen pictures of the South Bronx, 25 to 40% of it was burnt down.
Talk about
You
the
know,
growing up. Like, was it, and how did you avoid those? Was it through music? Was it through family? Tell us about those and you in your earlier days of moving and how you had to move in the South Bronx in the.
well, for me, it was kind of easy
Mhm.
because Soundview projects where I grew up at, they were fairly new. You know, um, my mother wasn't having it. As simple as that. My mother was not having it. So
Right.
my father sacrificed a lot, and put myself and my younger brother. We went to private school for 12 years.
Okay.
My father said, "You're going to get the best of both worlds. You're going to get a solid education through Catholic school, but then you're going to also, you growing up in the hood, so you get the best of both worlds." And while we were allowed to um, do certain things, we weren't allowed to just literally run the streets at 11 to 12 years old.
Right.
Once I got out of the 8th grade, I had to take a bus and a train to go to school. So then everything opened up because now I can get on the bus and train, and you learn how to travel throughout
Yeah.
the city because the public transportation could take you throughout the entire city. You
Right.
could travel on $4.
Right. Right. Yep. Yep. when I'm
Going in, coming.
early days, I knew how to move for $20 a week. I knew how to move in and out
Yeah,
from all week. You know what I'm saying? Get to work. I had a space 250.
yeah,
This was $1.25. Remember that? And they got the car.
yep,
I
yep.
remember those early days. I mean, but New York, I bet so you talk about Soundview and the early projects, like, and you said that they were fairly new and you had to take a bus and a train. So you had to spend a lot of time actually getting to school and when you were and while you were your parents saying you're gonna have a high quality education, that really helped you to stick to avoid a lot of the pitfalls of being out on the street because you were being focused and disciplined at home.
Oh, yeah, well, and heavy emphasis on the discipline.
Yes.
See, my parents were from Charleston, South Carolina, and
Okay.
they definitely believed in, excuse my French, tapping that ass when you stepped out of line.
Right.
And so, and so I remember two ass whipping distinctively that changed my whole life. And I'll just talk about the last one. Some
Hmm.
of my cousins from Charleston, South Carolina came down to visit, never been to New York City before. And they wanted to go outside. They were younger than me.
Right.
And my father said, do not get wet. It's summertime. You know, in the city, we don't have pools and stuff like that or beaches legit.
Right.
So they had the fire hydrants open. And so my father said, don't get wet. As soon as we get out the building, there's a fire hydrant in the parking lot less than 20 feet away from the front of the building. The basketball courts are behind the building. So I'm like, yo, we going around the building to where the basketball courts are. My cousins, no, we want to go see the water. We want to go see the water. I'm like, we not going over there. Please, we never saw it before. I'm like, okay. Soon as we walk over there, the older dudes grab us all and throw us in the water because that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
Man, stayed outside for a couple of hours. Finally, we went upstairs. As soon as we walk in the house, my father's like, didn't I tell y'all not to get wet? And I said, but he said, but everybody in the room, and Bernard, you take all your damn clothes off. We could see about your butt. I was like, okay. I get up in there, and he told me, and this still with me for the rest of my life, and it made me a leader.
Hmm.
He said, I'm gonna whoop your ass. He said, and after I whip your ass, I want you to answer a question. Why would you follow behind somebody that's dumber than you?
Woo.
Mm.
And that changed the rest of my life. He said, after this ass whooping, you will always be a leader because you're not gonna follow behind anybody because now you know consequences. And why would you follow behind somebody that's dumber than you?
Mm. It's deep,
And
right?
I took that to heart. And so my mentality was after that, like I said, I grew up in the projects. When I say I grew up with guys that was on America's Most Wanted, I grew up with, it was all type of crazy stuff going on in the projects, from drugs to gangs to this and that. My mentality was I was a nerd, but I was the coolest nerd that you would ever know. I was athletic. So
Right.
my mentality was if I'm gonna get my ass whooped, my father said, if you can get your ass whooped, make sure you the leader. And
I,
if you the leader, why you want to get your ass whooped? So
that,
when my friends would say, yo, talk to the cashier while we steal a beer. Or when they want to do something stupid, I was like, check this out. Y'all go do that. I'm going to play basketball.
right.
Oh,
Right.
you a punk. You a punk. You just trying to hit me with the peer pressure. I said, let me explain something to you. You gonna take that ass whooping my mother or father gonna give me? No. Then shut up and go on about your business. And and once they realized they respected me for that.
Yeah.
So when they decided they was going to do some dirt, to
Yeah.
be like, yo, break out, man. We going to do this. We'll bring the beer to the court. Even
Right.
though I ain't drink beer, but I mean,
Right.
and
Right.
then I ended up becoming a leader because now I'm looking for people that want to go play basketball, want to
Right.
go play football, want to go to the Boys and Girls Club. And I helped kind of steer all of my friends away from the knuckleheads. I
Hmm.
mean, we still had knuckleheads around us, and we was boys with them. I mean, when they wasn't doing what they was doing, we played football, we played basketball, but I wasn't partaking in nothing that was gonna cause me to get my ass whooped.
Right. I know
You know, so
that's
that's
pretty.
how I that's how I stayed on the straight and narrow because all I kept seeing was that extension cord and looking at my skin.
Yeah.
They call it child abuse now. I call it it teaches you it taught me consequences.
Hey, let's go check it right there. You know what? And that's real. We going into the second quarter right now. We are here with Mr. Cool ice water
Oh,
was
ice in the house. I'm just sitting back gathering it all in because back in the day, that's how hip hop started off. Was I was listening to all your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got a question for you as well. How did Beat Street the movie? How did that like what that did a great part for hip hop? Would you agree, or how did that pan in? You thinking of hip hop? How Beat Street came out?
Um, it actually was a great thing. I had a whole bunch of guys that I shared stages with, um, actually in that movie.
Right.
And deep down inside, me and my boys are supposed to be in the movie, but that's another story. Um, but it did a great job of showing life in the South Bronx, um, how things were. I mean, you saw the tore down buildings, um, the music, the break dancing, all of the rappers and everybody that was in it. They were
yeah.
basically guys, most of the pioneers of hip hop.
Yeah,
I
man. I
know.
mean, when I go back and look at that movie, it show a lot of history in that movie, bro.
Oh yeah. I
The
mean,
history in
like
that
I
movie.
said, you have most. I think the Cold Crush brothers were in there. Fantastic Romantic Five, Treacherous Three, Afrika Bambaataa, Jazzy Jay,
Yeah.
Soul Sonic Force.
Oh, they was in that boy. It was in
Yeah,
there.
Lisa Lee and
Yeah.
Sha Rock and them. I mean, it definitely helped let the rest of the world know
Right.
where hip hop came from and kind of how it got started in this and that.
Well, that's a wonderful question, Dub, that you had said because Beat Street, Wild Style, those movies right there were really pioneer the essence of really of what it was going on. But to take it another step further, like the grit of the Bronx and how it was, with the violence and the drugs and the hardships and things like that, and you can tell that it was that birth this thing that we call hip hop that we all love 50 plus, maybe even more later, years later. But can because the Grandmaster Flashes, the Melly Mells, the Afrikan Bambaatas, how did and then we are talking to royalty right here, hip hop
Oh,
Hall of
sure.
Famer Bernard Haywood. So so you're in what I'm asking is you're in the essence of that, creator with all the creators. Where did you guys get all the equipment? And who figured this out and that out, and talk about when you started to go to the park jams.
Okay. As far as equipment was concerned, some of it was purchased, a lot of it was made. Like they say, hip hop didn't invent anything;
Right.
it reinvented everything.
Talk
There
about
was
it.
there was already speakers out there,
Okay.
but the thing about hip hop, Grandmaster Flash, quote unquote, invented the crossfader.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
I know my man Jazzy Jay and his homeboy Superman. They were making the speakers, the ass kickers. They
Yeah.
was making those before they were in the store.
Talk about that.
So
How
we
how
had we had carpenters. There were carpenters. There were electricians. There were all type of people that were MCs, DJs, roadies, whatever that were affiliated into hip hop. So
okay.
it was
Mhm.
like we got the electricity. We didn't at first we weren't plugging into people's house. We didn't have generators. We plugged into the light pole. Somebody had to know, okay, you could do this and do that and plug into this light pole. It's still electricity from the city, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, what's my man?
Um,
What's my man name in B Street? They used to paint the what's the name? What was the name of the movie?
you asking the wrong person, man. That's 30, 40 years
Mike
ago.
Mitch, what's his name? The dude that painted was painting all the trains and everything. Then the
Ramon,
dude came on B Street and was painting spit all over it.
we have to
I
have
remember the scene, yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah, I
but
forgot his name. Forgot
but
his
hey,
name.
but as you were saying, like so a lot of the people were carpenters, and that makes sense now. When you think about like some of the pioneers, because they a lot of that equipment wasn't there, like the Grandmaster Flash. Man, that just an
And
amazing
see,
talent.
and and even with the turntables, a
Yeah,
lot of the turntables back then they were direct drive,
right.
but got it's like I said, hip hop didn't invent anything. It reinvented everything. And I got to give the credit to where credit is due. That's Grandmaster Caz who said that, coined that. The
Right.
turntables were direct drive. If you bought turntables back in those days, it came with a thick piece of rubber on the platter.
That's right.
Somebody understood to take the rubber off the platter, take an album cover, cut it the shape of a record,
Yeah.
put that on the platter, take a piece of wax paper,
Yeah.
put that on the platter, or possibly cut a piece of felt and put that on the platter. Now you put the record on it and it slides backwards. You know, we didn't have music classes or anything like that. So we made our own instruments. You know, it's like the beatbox. We didn't have drum machines early on. But
Right.
people figured out how you make a beat back in the day. You beating on a drum, or you are not beating on the drum, beating on the table, beating on the wall.
Beatboxing.
Yeah. And then they start beatboxing. Microphones you could buy from a store, whatever.
Okay.
And I think they actually had mixers. But like I said, I think from my understanding, Grandmaster Flash is the one that kind of invented the crossfader or whatever it may be.
Right.
And then once you got the equipment, then it just came down to.
Shouts out to Grandmaster Caz as well. And you did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you know all of these people. Like, now talk about the Park Jam. Were you at that particular Park Jam in 73, or talk about your
No.
Your Park Jams and your brother?
Okay. The Park I didn't venture off that far. 73, I was 11 years old. My mother would have tore my ass up if I left the projects.
Exactly.
But the Park Jams in my area, we had Soundview Big Park. We had an elementary school that had a park behind it, and that's where I could see DJ Cool DJ D, Tyrone the mixologist, and even Disco King Mario, who was from Monroe Projects. They would all come to Soundview and play. We had a bunch of parks in the South Bronx, so DJs, they would bring their equipment out and they play music. My brother MC Sundance, hilarious. Rest in peace. He's the one who kind of got me started in being an MC. Like I said, I was in the music. I wanted to be a DJ. I was shy. I was not trying to stand on no stage and rap in front of people. But he talked me into being an MC because he came to me one day and he's like, "Look, you need to be an MC." I'm like, "Why?" I said, "First of all, because you have the voice. Second of all, because I love the English language. I loved English. I loved writing.
Right.
And I loved it, finding new words in the dictionary." And he said, "Third, because you a nerd with your voice and the way you sound, you can get all the girls, man. We can get you a girlfriend." This and that. I'm like 13, 14. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so once he convinced me into doing it, he said, "Now this is what I want you to do. I want you to write 532 bar rhymes."
Right.
And so, I wrote them in this and that, and then we practiced going back and forth. And then it was like a couple of weeks later, he's like, "There's a jam at Bronx River." He was already down. Like I said, he was down with him and Jazzy Jay was running all over the city. I was afraid to leave the area. Him and Jazzy was running all over the Bronx and Manhattan, battling people.
Right.
And so him and Jazzy ended up with Disco King Mario.
Why did your brother take that risk, knowing that Pops still had the discipline? What was it about your brother that made him and Jazzy go out there and do those type of things? Tell us about the insight on that.
First of all, my brother was the complete opposite of me. He was the rebel. Okay. Second of all, my father passed away when I was 14. So my brother was 13. So it was just my mom's.
Okay.
So when my brother hit 14, 15, it was like, Ma got to catch me. Make sure he back before the light come on or whatever.
Right.
But him and Jazzy was gone. Yeah. And they were, and so they got down with Disco King Mario. They were there for a little while. Afrika Bambaataa actually saw them, and one of the guys was like, "Jazzy Jay live in Bronx River. That's where Bambaata's home base is, home of the Zulu Nation." Right. So he looked at Jazzy Jay. He's like, "What the hell are you doing down with Disco King Mario?" Right. And Jazzy was like, "Yo, you ain't want to put me on or whatever." He said, "Well, now you in Sundance now." Wow. So they ended up being down with him. That's how that happened. Yeah. Oh. So fast forward, my brother's like, "There's a jam at Bronx River Center. You coming with me?" and you go get on the microphone. I'm like, man, whatever. I ain't paying. First of all, you couldn't pay me to go in the Bronx River Center because that's like Zulu Nation territory, man. They robbing everybody walking up in the projects. He
Right.
said, you with me, you don't worry about it. I'm looking at him like, you shorter than me. What the hell you gonna do? I ain't know no better. I
Right.
walk up in there, they loving him. Yo, Sundance, what's up? I'm like, oh, okay, he got it like that. So he gets up on the stages, him, Powwow, Biggs, Hutch Hutch, another dude, Ice Ice, Lisa Lee. I mean, it was a crew of them. And you know, they all rhyming and doing what they doing. Jazzy's on the turntables and this and that. And then my brother starts rhyming. And Powwow gives me a mic. My brother calls me on, passes the mic to me, and then I start rhyming. Then I pass it back, and we go back and forth for a little while, spitting my 32 bar rhymes. I did about 2 or 3 of them, and he did 2 or 3, going back and forth. And everybody's like, damn, okay, okay. So, and then when I was done, I passed it to my man, Master Dee, who also was from Soundview. And he started spitting. So when we were done, Bam was like, yo, to me and Master B said, yo, y'all down to Soul Sonic Force from here on out. I'm like, okay. And that was kind of the start of my MC career, you know. And then a little bit later on, me, Master B, and Sundance, we like realized Bronx River was a good, for us at that time, 45-minute walk from Soundview.
Okay.
We were hearing tapes of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, the Funky Four, and they were doing routines.
Yeah.
The Soul Sonic Force was 8 or 9 deep, and they didn't really want to do routines. So I looked at my brother and said, yo, we want to do routines, man. Let's make our own group,
Right.
you know? And so we formed the Jazzy Four. We added another dude named Charlie Choo, and we formed the Jazzy Four, and Jazzy Jay was our DJ.
Okay.
So we started doing what we were doing. Sunday, Charlie Choo leaves to go to college. Sundance quits, and me and Master B had left holding the bag. And it's like, okay, what are we gonna do? I said, yo, we got enough guys in Soundview now that rap.
Yeah.
We could, you know, recruit them. So we recruited Chuck Freeze, rest in peace, and we recruited Master Dee. And then I said, well, we need 5 guys because in order for us back in those days, everything was a competition.
Right.
And in order for us to compete with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, we felt like we needed to have 5. And so we had like a little contest, and AJ Les won.
Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't hear what he just said. In order to compete with who?
Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Yeah.
They were the rock stars. This is before records. That's the other thing I need everybody to understand.
Before records.
Only here on Afrika Zoo is you getting this source right here. You know,
this is everything I'm telling you right now is before rap records.
Talk about it.
Before the Sugar Hill Gang popped up out of nowhere because nobody had ever heard of them. Well, okay, they were the rappers. They was put together. Sylvia Robinson put them together after they had heard, after they had seen what was going on with rap in the Bronx and in New York City. Yeah. And so we, like I said, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five was who everybody was measured against.
It was that was the top of the line, and I can see.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, they had Melly Mel,
yes,
who when he rapped on a mic, when he talked on a mic, he sounded like the voice of God.
Right.
They had Raheem.
Yep.
Raheem was probably one of the nicest MCs out, and then he could sing. Yep. You know, and then Kid Creole had his style. Keith Cowboy had his style. Mr. Ness had his style. Then you had Grandmaster Flash cutting it up like nobody else. And then he would pull out his drum machine, his beatbox, and it was Murder, She Wrote.
You know what?
They dressed in leather.
He was a hell of a scratcher. That's the first time I was like, man, his scratching was a mug, man.
Just on a side note, fam. I was working I didn't mean to cut it. I was working on the Chris Rock show, interning one time. And Grandmaster Flash was the DJ for his show. And it was one time just me and him in the studio by himself. And fam, if you know what I'm talking about, when you see a master doing what he, like I'm watching you. When you see a master doing what you do and your eyes only see it, and like we can't replay that for the world. And you know it, man. I mean, shouts up to Grandmaster Flash.
Let me tell you a quick story about Grandmaster Flash. I'm at the T Connection.
Come on now.
In the Bronx, hip hop show.
Okay.
Now, I've heard Grandmaster Flash on tapes, but I had never heard him live. I'm in there, this brother spinning. I'm like, okay, let's see what, because Jazzy Jay to me was a bad mom, right?
Right.
This brother Grandmaster Flash threw on To Be Real by Cheryl Lynn. When he got through with the song, I didn't know what it was. And see, him And Jazzy Jay, the reason why I never became no hip hop DJ. I could scratch and do all that, but I never even felt like I could come close to what they did. So I just developed my own style, you know. But yeah, no, Grandmaster Flash was a beast. Grand was a Theodore was a beast. Like
Yes.
I said, my man Jazzy Jay could cut with all of them. The crazy thing about Jazzy Jay, and you could check the tapes. I have nothing against Jam Master Jay, rest in peace, this and that. But them cuts that he did on the Run DMC songs, the Peter Piper Pick Pepper, um, uh, all that got stolen from Jazzy Jay.
Really,
And we
really.
got the tape to prove it. Jazzy Jay was doing that in 78, 79, and 80.
We're gonna have to
Run
have
DMC
Jazzy J
was
on.
nowhere to be found.
Man, we're gonna have to have Jazzy J on the show to talk about it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah, I mean, I could send you a tape where you hear what he's doing. My brother used to have a rhyme. My man Chuck Freeze had a rhyme. First he was doing it with Sundance, and then he was doing it with Chuck Freeze. Everybody calls me Chucky Chuck, and he used to cut up Bob James too, the Bell song. Ding 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 ding. The same thing they did Peter Piper too. And
Yeah.
that same cut he does on that, Jazzy Jay was doing 80, 79, 80, 81. First with MC Sundance, second with Chuck Freeze.
That might be where that's might be where he got hit.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
definitely,
hey,
definitely.
check this out. We are at the halftime spot already, just getting deep into the history, man, and we just getting into it, man. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Kellogg's. We're gonna big shout out to my man Rich Vision with the clothing, and Dubb. What else? Some of the sponsors you want to give a shout out to today?
Give a shout out to #1 draft pick apparel and clothing. I mean, they blowing up. They're blowing up. He made the shouts out to Supreme. And then we also got blockchain management. And we also have excuse me. we also have Nano Hydration H2O, which is an alkaline water company we're sponsor as well.
Definitely with Mike Mich Film Productions and on the Come Through Network with Kiki. Definitely, man, we are here with our special guest, my friend, Mr. Bernard Haywood, the Master Ice. Man, you got some.
Oh yeah, and napalm.
Tell us what your official name
Shouts out to napalm. Shouts out to napalm flower.
too,
Yeah.
man. Shouts out. And shouts out to Miss Vicky with the T, certified total life change. Go ahead and get yours right there on the links. And also here's our Cash app right there. If you want to do a little donation, you can screen that, and we appreciate everything to keep everything going, man. But look, but we're back here with fam. I got the pleasure to meet you when you were DJing, and I was speaking about Grandmaster Flash because I was really, you are tremendous at what you do, mixologist, cutting, rocket party. That's why I asked earlier if you was going to be on your turntables, if we could have been so graced with the pleasure. I mean. Like
we get that back another time though.
as an MC, I'm an MC. Man, I consider myself, dope, freestyler, MC, whatever, all those rappers, but it's an art. It's to be in that league. And when you hear the right music, it's like a glue, it's like a puzzle. Everything comes together. I couldn't,
good music.
I couldn't get enough. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't let this brother know how good I could spit or whatever. And then come to find out, he is affiliated. Now, this is where the leadership comes through. Is affiliated with a group called the Strangers, and I would be rocking around town, and where we met was in Fort Walton Beach, if you don't mind me saying. That's where we met. Was it? And you called it Paradise, and it wasn't that many African Americans, if you want to say, that you could see out and about. So just to see not only this tremendous talent, and then to find out that you are in the Jazzy Five with Afrika Bambaataa, it just blew my mind. And so we're gonna talk about when Bambaataa told you, we're getting back here on I'm From This, we'll get back into it. When Bambaataa told you you in the full sound, you in the soul sonic force right now. How did that just change? What happened?
For me, it didn't necessarily change anything. I mean, it gave me a chance to actually rap, be an MC on a larger scale. But like I said, this is before records. So it's like, okay, the one thing I know it did was give me, I'll say, security.
Right.
Because I knew nobody was going to mess with me now because I'm a Zulu.
Right.
And That's the biggest gang on the East Coast.
Right.
You know, so that as far as that was concerned, it gave me more clout a little bit, but I was never really that type of a person anyway.
It gave
You
you
know,
confidence and that confidence to walk the streets because nobody messed with the Zulu Nation.
and
And,
yeah, and that's the truth. But I for me, I was more of I was a Soundview dude. I was comfortable around my people, and when I left Soundview, you could be assured I had Soundview with me.
right,
You know, because like I said, I was a nerd. I wasn't necessarily a fighter.
right.
You know, I could fight, but I wasn't about all that. I'm all about, you know, peace, unity, and having fun. You know, so
Let's
um,
let's talk about how you recorded like amen to peace, unity, and fun. By the way, I'm not gonna let that ever slide by because that's what hip hop's all about. And
know it.
what I wanted to ask about it because I'm always intrigued about your crew, how you all got together, and how did you make that recording with Bambaataa? And it's such a classic. And talk about that record being on, was it Tommy Boy Records?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You know,
Basically,
we going there again.
nah, no problem. Basically, Tom Silverman, Tommy Boy Records, he used to come to Bronx River,
Okay.
and a bunch of other punk rockers. They would come to Bronx River because the band played everything. You
Right.
go to a Bambaataa party and he would be playing hip hop. Like I said, there was no rap records. So
Right.
he'd be playing hip hop, James Brown, Sly Stone, Parliament Funkadelic. He throwing a Pink Panther theme. He throwing reggae. He throwing African beats,
Yeah.
punk rock. He played everything. So the punk rockers actually liked it because he throwing a punk rock joint.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and so they came down to Bronx River Center. They would stay on the stage and this and that, but they stand up on the side. And so after Sugar Hill started putting out a couple of records here and there, you know, Tom Silverman, I guess he wanted to put out a record, and because he had already been introduced to
Okay.
Bambaataa, um, one day I guess the Jazzy Five we were performing, and so he listened to what we was doing. He's like, he went to Bam and said, "Look, I want to do a record." I don't know if the Soul Sonic Force was ready at the time
Mhm.
because there was so many, and it was like in flux because people were leaving. People, the Jazzy Five, we were already doing routines.
Okay.
Our stuff was already tight, and so Bam asked us if we wanted to do a record, and you know Tom did also. And we was like, yeah, and
Right.
so he gave us a choice: Genius of Love or Funky Sensation. I
Uh,
said Funky Sensation. You know, I wasn't the leader of the Jazzy Five, but I was the spokesperson for the Jazzy Five. And
mm,
for in my mind, Funky Sensation, nobody had done a rap record off of that. Where Sugar Hill had already put out a record with Genius of Love and Somebody. So I
right.
was like, I said we could change it from funky to jazz sensation. And everybody was like, bet. We already had routines.
Right.
The record, all we did was add some lines like at the beginning of the song and a few other lines at the beginning. And then we went straight into our routines. We just changed a couple of words so we would have Zulu Nation and Jazzy Sensation in the song.
And
And
ladies
then,
and gentlemen,
and then the
some of
hook
these
is
tapes,
basically Funky Sensation, except for we changed it to Jazzy Sensation.
and ladies and gentlemen, what I was getting ready to say, I'm sorry. Some of these tapes that Ice has are iconic. We would when I got a chance to sit down with him, what about almost 6 years ago, you would show me some of those tapes in those clubs in the moment, and y'all would just be rocking, man, just so on point. You know what I'm saying? What were some of those early clubs that you were performing in?
Well, hip hop back in those days, I would probably say um, they were more like school gyms, the PAL. Like the first spot I remember was junior high school 123.
Mm.
That was the place to be. Then Bronx River Center, then
Okay.
some of the local PALs. And then finally, as far as the clubs were concerned, the T Connection, the Ecstasy Garage.
Mm.
Um, there were a few other spots here and there. The Stardust Ballroom. You know, there were a couple other places here and there, but for the most part, in the early days, the school gyms. We actually even rocked at Cardinal Hayes High School, my high school, and
And
some of the other Stevenson High School, some of the other high schools
those
in the
flyers
area.
that you had on them, man, were our iconic drawings,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and not only just the flyers, but not some of the names that you guys used to do the shows with. Because when you started getting established, and you came out with the record, because obviously you recorded the record on Tommy Boy, and
yeah.
it was an instant classic.
What about the Latin Quarter?
So the Latin Quarter wasn't around in 80, 81,
Yeah,
82.
it
Like,
came later, huh?
yeah, yeah. And
Then
see, like I
you
said before,
started doing that, then you because remember you said like Grandmaster, okay, like the Furious Five was the standard, right? And all
yeah,
this, here you guys come, Jazzy Five, Funky Sensation, with this classic hit, right? And when I mean it's the classic, so now you're doing shows with them. Can you talk about some of your relationships that you had with them and doing the shows, and what was the camaraderie like?
um, because we were with the Zulu Nation,
Yeah,
we kind of had our own quote unquote show.
I, I
You
see.
know,
They
we
didn't,
didn't necessarily.
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. We were doing shows with the Cold Crush Brothers, the Funky Four, Kool Herc. Um, they had a lot of battles in New York City, like at Harlem World,
okay,
where everybody would show up, and that's where I first got to see the Force. They were called the Force MDs when they
right,
started making records. But
Yeah,
yeah.
they was
before,
rapping and then they ended up being a singing group, right?
They was
yeah, but
rapping. They was rapping.
early on they were rappers that
Yep.
could sing, and they
Yes.
were called the Force MCs.
Yep.
Tommy Boy signed them and called them the MDs. Um, but that's the first time I thought that Raheem could sing, and I thought my man Master Dee could sing. Then I
Right.
heard them sing. They were singing Michael Jackson songs, and then going into it, I was like, oh my, and I mean, sounding like Michael Jackson. I was like, damn. But
Yeah.
like the battles were where you got a chance to see Mastodon and the Death Committee. Um, Basically on the Crash Crew, all Fantastic Romantic Five. Even before records, we was having battles. We
Yeah.
the Cold Crush Brothers, Fantastic Romantic Five, Furious Five. We never really battled the Furious Five, but I was at the show in which Afrika Bambaataa they did Flash It to the Beat before Sugar Hill put the record out.
Okay.
They did it live, and they I don't think it was ever supposed to be a record. And Afrika Bambaataa recorded it, and he put it on a plate.
Ooh,
He put it on a plate called, and I think it's called Flash to the Beat. And on the B side was Bam cutting up a couple of hip hop break beats. It's like a classic plate.
Right.
And so Sugar Hill heard the plate, and they ran them in the studio to put out a fake version of Flash It to the Beat because the original one is raw. I don't even think Raheem was supposed to be the lead singer. I think he didn't feel well that night, and Melly Mel sang the lead, but you wouldn't really know the difference. So you hear them on stage while Flash is actually playing the beatbox,
Right.
and they had the routines. They was piecing it together live, and this is them raw. I was in Bronx River Center when they did that, and I was like, "Oh my god, yo!" Like I
I,
said,
I I can imagine. I can see. I mean, like like I said, I just saw KRS-One Sunday, and the reason why I'm saying and bringing him up because I can. It's something about that early pioneer Bronx performer, that essence of hip hop, as Kaz would say. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And I can imagine the energy that you could see, not only performing, with them or against them, but just the awe of being in that presence of watching that greatness as it begins. You know?
yeah. And then the fact that, like I said, we didn't quote unquote have records.
Right.
So we were coming up with routines. I mean, we were snatching riffs from commercials, from other songs like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and this and that, just changing the lyrics.
You
I
are talking
mean,
about real hip hop, ladies and gentlemen. That's
yeah,
real
I mean,
boys and
I
girls,
mean,
real hip hop.
television commercials, cartoons,
Yeah.
whatever had a melody to it, we would flip it, rewrite it, and then use it like Jazzy Jay would cut up a beat, and we would sing it on top of that beat.
Right.
And that was quote unquote. We were doing R&B hooks way before on rap records when they
Definitely
would
feel that the
rap
early
records.
pioneers is yourself. We were very much more free to be creative.
Yeah,
Everybody now wants to put yourself in a box. You got to do this way, this way. But
yeah,
when you really get back to it, this is why I'm appreciating Dubb and I and everyone here that are fans from the zoo. We appreciate getting this real story from a real person from the Bronx during this era that we all love and will always cherish, but you actually was there living it. And not only living it, you was on stage with the greats and watching them. All
yeah.
right. Now tell me
instant classic.
And
classic.
see, for me, like you said, I know you had started to mention as far as my names were concerned.
Yes, yeah.
Back then, I was the Master Ice.
Okay.
Like I said, we did the record with Tommy Boy, but business wise, I'm not gonna get into it. But let's just say we got completely 110% jerked. And
Yeah.
so when I left in '85, we
Well,
had
wait,
we
wait,
tried to get on
before
other
you tell like why you left, because now you was doing the hip hop strong, y'all were doing shows. Did you travel outside of New York?
Yeah, oh yeah, we definitely traveled outside of New York. But
Okay.
when you make a record, you hope to get some money from it.
Right.
And basically everything got stolen from us. We copyrighted our music, so if there are any lawyers, music lawyers that are listening to this that wants to take on a pro bono case, you could take ours on because we copyright our music and we signed it with ASCAP and everything. But
Let's talk about
basically,
that because De La Soul had, you remember we were talking about
yeah,
this years ago when De La Soul couldn't get their catalog from Tommy Boy, and then they finally got it, and then
yeah.
passed like that week some kind of crazy way. It was ridiculous. But shouts up to De La Soul. But you guys
De
were in
La
that
Soul,
predicament with them first.
De La Soul has had a name.
Hmm.
Everybody know De La Soul.
Yeah.
Everybody, still some people that know of the Jazzy Five. But ours is a whole lot more complicated because
Yeah.
we copyrighted our music, our lyrics.
Hmm.
That's still ours. But we never signed a contract because he offered us basically a slave contract.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I at 19 years old, I could read. That's one of the benefits of me going to private school. And
Right.
there was no way in the world I'm signing a contract that's telling me we're splitting 2%. And
Yeah.
it's five of us. Matter of fact, it's six of us counting the Afrika Bambaataa.
Well,
You know,
speaking of
it's like, hold up, I know I'm working
Bambaataa
for
didn't
the
get paid either.
huh?
Bambaataa didn't get paid either.
No, he got paid. He signed a separate side deal also.
Okay.
Everybody got paid except for the Jazzy Five.
Oh wow.
You know, and we never got a dime from it, but we did get to do shows and this and that. But by then, by 84, 85,
Yeah.
I was I was kind of pissed. Everybody was kind of, I mean, we were still doing what we were doing, but it's like, you know, it's time for me to get out of here. And I joined the military. And when I joined the military, I said, excuse my French, fuck hip hop.
So
And I changed my name.
you had left New York City in '85.
Yes.
And so like this is important for everybody to know because still pure with the South Bronx, you're still pure with the wisdom and all of the gifts, and
Oh yeah.
you go directly to Florida. Why Florida? And what service were you in? And thank you for your service.
Thank you. You're welcome. Um, well, I joined the United States Air Force.
Okay.
And when you join the military, they give you I guess a dream sheet, and you could put down where you want to go. And I'm like, if I'm leaving New York, I'm going to where it's warm.
Okay.
So I put Florida, I put some overseas spots, and they sent me to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida,
All
where
right.
I'm at now. And so, I got there, and after 3 days, I called my mom's up and I said, "Ma, I love you, but I ain't never living in New York City again." you know,
Got it.
and 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 it was crazy because I joined the military, and I'm thinking, okay, I can't DJ no more. I gave all my equipment and records to all my friends in New York.
Mhm.
Soon as I get on Eglin Air Force Base, dude, I meet a guy. He's like, "Yo, let's go to the NCO club." I'm like, "Okay, go over there." Guys in there DJing. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he couldn't really. I mean, he's my man to this day and this and that. But I'm from New York City. It's like, okay, he sounded like a radio station DJ. Put on a song, let the song go off, put another one on. And this is like in the NCO club. I'm like, hold the hell up. So I walked up to him towards the end of the night, and I'm like, "Yo, I DJ." He's like, "Everybody tell me that shit." I was like, "What you drink?" And he
No.
told me I got him a double shot.
Right.
I said, "Check this out. Pick out a song, and I play 3 songs. If I suck, you got a drink, and I never bother you again." He's like, "Bet." He pulled out like Dougie Fresh the show. I said, "Didn't I tell you I was from New York City?" He's like, "Man, get to pick your songs." Man, I threw in that Dougie Fresh. I pulled out Suck MCs, the instrumental. So I mixed that with it. Everybody was dancing and shit. They turned and looked. They was like, okay, he know what he's doing. And then I brought in Shaka Khan. Ain't nobody. I was
Oh,
playing that with Suck MCs. Old boy interrupted me in my mixes like, "Yo, what you drinking?" And I was like, "Rum and Coke." He came back and said, "We need to talk when you're done." And I played the rest of the night. And then he put me on. And
right.
from that point on, it was like, I had the bass. I was doing old school and new school. And then like the next night I went downtown into the hood, Hollywood Boulevard, the Elks Lodge. And same thing. Dude was in there DJing. I walked up in the booth. I said, I'm from New York. He was playing Planet Rock. And I walked up, I was like, oh, Planet Rock came out like in 82. It's like 85. What the heck? So I walked up there, I said, yo, those are my boys in this and that and this. I'm from New York. He's like, you from New York? I said, yeah, this is what I do. He said, here, play a couple of songs. I played 2 or 3 songs. It was him and another dude named Tony, who was from Brooklyn, right? I played 3 songs. He got on the microphone, cut the music off. We are now called 3 the Hard Way. Add anything, just like that. We got Cool Ice Water.
Just
we got
like
Tony. And so I basically had the best of both worlds because I played in the hood and I played on the bass.
And you're in
it's
the
been like that ever since.
service. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been to Fort Walton Beach area, you get to I had the privilege of being able to have a pass to get on
Yeah.
to the food at the time, and we are talking a ridiculous military, man, so big. It's its own city.
It's the largest military installation in the United States.
It's so big. It's
And
scary, scary big.
And the base
that didn't overwhelm you when you first got there, man. From New York.
Well, no, I mean I'm a New Yorker. It's like, see, I wasn't. My mentality was, I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna make the best of this new life. But once I found out that I could DJ, I was like, now this is my part-time job. I'm gonna do my job.
And this is important because you built those relationships. You built those new relationships with your talent. And not only they knew the purity that you came, and so then that built. Now tell how that built on from you being there, and what led from your start in your service.
Okay, basically, like I said, I DJ'd on the bass and off
Bring
the
us
bass.
to the green door when we met.
Okay,
Right
from 86 to 2002, I was the DJ on Eglin Air Force Base. And if you ask anybody that was in the military that came to Eglin, they would tell you that was the rockinest base in the United States. Okay. And 2002, once the war broke out, they started limiting who could get on the base. And so that kind of killed it. But I was still playing downtown, and I already built up my contacts. So it was like whatever. I knew there were rappers in the area, but they were younger, and I wasn't trying to. You know me, I'm a purist. I'm not trying to hear that goo goo gaga shit. So one day I met a guy, and I heard him rapping or what. I was like, okay, he's kind of nice. He invited me out to the Hard Rock out in Destin. So he said, I was like, okay, I'll come check it out or whatever. I'm skeptical. I'm like, whatever. I get out there and it had a band. I was like, okay, I might like this then, okay. And he was rapping with a band. And he was nice. His name was Mike Mixture at the time. He had a couple of guys opening for him. Okay. Strange Tang. I can't remember everybody else. But so I was like, okay, so there is a hip hop culture here, because I had never really heard, and I've been here since 86. We talking like 2000 something now. And I was like, okay. So I told him, I said, the next time y'all decide to do this, let me DJ. So I came, they let me DJ one time. They had the band setting up, I plug into the speakers and this and that. Now this is the Hard Rock and Destin, so it ain't none of us out there early. Right. People are still eating. So everybody's kind of nervous because there's a bunch of them in there eating. I said, yo, I got them. They're like, what the, okay, Ice. Yo, the first song I throw on, James Brown, Live at the Apollo. Yo, them old people started getting up and started dancing. He's like, damn. And the youngsters are looking at me like, what the fuck is Ice doing? Yo, I had because everybody know James Brown, and I know exactly, I was playing classic hip hop. Yeah. Break beats and everything. So when the band and them they started doing what they doing and this and that. Once it was over with, I connected with the younger guys because they were all younger than me.
Okay.
And then one day they invited me to their recording studio, The Strangers. Oblique the Architect and Price on the mic at the time. They were Strange Tang. But Thaddeus Royale was there. And a couple of people. And so we're sitting around and they talking about doing this and doing that. And I explained, that's them right there. I explained to them, I said, check this out. I said, y'all are not going to make it solo because nobody's going to listen to one voice, consistently. I said, but if you join up as a group and you pull your talents together, you can still make solo albums. But if you make group albums, 3 or 4 people on one song is better than one person on one song.
Right.
Because now you got 3 people rapping about the same topic, but in their own style, in their own voice, and using their own words, their
Right.
own. And so they was like, bet. And they was like, so what would he call ourselves? Well, Oblique Price was already Strange Tank. I said, yo, let's call ourselves the Strangers. None of us ain't from here. Hip hop brought us together.
There's
We all,
there's that leadership again, right there.
yeah, and they was like, yo, that's cool. And so I'm their mentor. I'm not trying to rap. I don't tell them what to rap, but they also understand. I explain to them the history of hip hop and how lyricism is a major component. That's the art form of rap. I said, now you can make Google Gaga records if you want to, but I'm not signing off on those. And so they respected me, and that's where I have to give them props because a lot of young people don't want to listen to the OGs. And they call me a triple OG. They don't want to listen. I said, look, lyrically, if you have real lyrics, your song will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
If you have gimmicks, using slang for today that's dead tomorrow, it's not gonna last.
And just as a performer, they're not. If you have bad songs, they're not fun to do live. I watch, but if you have songs, they're fun to do. Well, it's fun to watch.
And if you have real lyrics, there's somebody out there that can relate to what you're saying. If you're using real lyricism, I told them don't be afraid to use the English language. There's more than cuss words in the English language. And then I told them, I said, you pick your beats because I don't expect you to use the type of beats that I would like. I said, as long as you spitting fire, I'm good. And then the other,
I'm gonna do a mental test, right? I'm gonna see what you would do. Your blend game right now, right?
Okay.
What you blending this record with? What you blending this?
I can't see.
You see it?
Car wash is about, I want to say about 110 beats per minute. Off the top of my head, it's somewhere between 105 and maybe 111. So I know if it's lower, if it's around 105, I know I could play Shaka Khan, Ain't Nobody With. I could play Daz, Brick. I could play a lot of the Zap songs. Oh yeah,
I can hear that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you get a chance, fam, if you know what I always thought, man, that like remember back in the day when DJs would make those mixtapes and stuff like that, the blend tapes. If you did that, I would be buying them.
Well, hey, I think it's a market for that though. Steve.
I know it is, especially when you have that kind of incredible ear.
I actually have mixed CDs. My boy, one of my boys is trying to talk me into putting my stuff on YouTube and this and that and this. My only concern is I don't want any other artists to come at me talk about, yo, if you making money, why we ain't getting no money out of it.
Right.
That's the only thing that's held me back from even attempting to do that.
Okay.
Other than that, and I'm still
drop it as an NFT.
As a what?
Drop it as an NFT, and then you own all the rights to it, and the money comes straight to you. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
Yeah, but what about coming at me?
This is when I was talking about Ice.
Once it's put in the blockchain, that's it. You can't change it.
So imagine here's your album cover, your mix CD, and it's in the NFT world. Yeah, Dubb's the man to talk to with that. You know what I'm saying? We could definitely do something like that, fam. You know what I mean? Because
you could drop it yourself.
Not just for the monetary thing, because I know you're not really caring about that, but just for the culture type.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like Ice, one of the things I've always been impressed with you, big bro, is like your humbleness. You know what I'm saying? And knowledge. You know what I mean? Like when I got a chance to meet you 6 years ago, and we sat down in that library that nobody knew nothing about. You know what I mean? And we got a chance to chop it up. I really learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? I really did. And I took that game with me. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I knew that we were leaving and going around, but I really liked the strangers. I really thought that, you and your bandmates have a wonderful camaraderie. Shout out to Mark, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
Demetrius,
definitely.
what's up to y'all? Here I am, fam, with the fam still, you know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
I appreciate our brotherhood, man, because um but what I wanted to ask, man, like what now when you left and you came up and you're producing with the strangers and things like that, you still connect with your family back up in Soundview and talk about that when the 50th hip hop anniversary came. You got a chance to go back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. That's gonna always be my family. I mean, Soundview, we
Mhm.
literally we grew up in the projects, especially the type of projects I grew up in. I mean, we literally have like I want to say anywhere between about 14 buildings, 7 story high, 7 stories high, 7 apartments on each, floor, and
Yeah.
then you got double-sided buildings. I grew up with 100 friends,
Wow.
so when we have the reunion,
Yeah.
I get to see two, three, four, 500 people that I haven't seen in years.
Right.
And within that, I get to see, like for instance, this is some of my family tree as far as I got DJs that are now, I'll say at least New York City famous, maybe a little bit more outside of New York City that's doing their thing. My
Yeah.
man, you remember the song Uptown Baby? We gets down, baby.
Yeah. Peter Guns and Tariq, Lord Tariq and Peter Guns.
Lord Tariq is from Soundview.
Okay.
He came
Oh,
up under me.
he
Okay.
dope.
Lord
Will
Tariq.
Trax. I don't know if you heard Will Trax. He's the one that got the birthday song. Shine a light on him.
Yeah.
All he's done, and then he had another song. Let me see some footwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Sound View. I have a picture with both of them that was taken about 10 years ago that I
Okay.
could send to you. Me, Will Trax, and Lord Tariq, and it says the present, the future, and the past.
Wow. Now let's talk about that. You are also, congratulations, they are definitely in store. You are in not one, but two Hall of Fames.
Three.
Three. Come on, Shake. Come on, man. Let me know. Three.
Bow down.
Apologize. Hey.
I'll put it this way. I know I'm in 3 hip hop museums.
Talk
I
about,
don't
tell us about those museums, where they are and
in
what.
the DC. I'm in the DC Hip Hop Museum.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
As a member of the Jazzy Five and slash being a DJ since like 77, 78. I'm in the Bronx Hip Hop Museum, which is the Universal Hip Hop Museum.
Where is that
They
located? You
That's
know?
located in the South Bronx. I want to say off of Hoe Avenue. That's
Okay.
actually being built.
Okay.
Honorary board member of that, and I'm definitely in that. And then there's also a hip hop museum being built downtown in Manhattan.
Wow.
That's the last one. This August got a chance to go and perform at Harlem Week, the Jazzy Five MCs with DJ Jazzy Jay. Um, and they inducted us into the New York City Hip Hop Museum.
Beautiful. Congratulations, man. This is excited.
That one was cool. I got to meet Pete Rock, Fat Man Scoop. I already knew DMC.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people. They were like, "Man, when we was little kids, we used to rock your tapes," and I'm like, "Why y'all making me feel old, man?"
Because you're a legend, fam. That's what it is. But you, like you said, you kept your purity so much intact. And then you went to Florida. So you hadn't, when we talked, you said you hadn't been to New York in a long time. So I bet it was wonderful to get back, and receive that and see that, feel that.
Yeah. See me, I've always been humble, and
Yeah.
I've always been about each one teach one.
Mhm.
I've always been about making a difference in the lives of others.
Right on.
That's for me. It's never really God didn't put me on this planet to be all about me. He put me on this planet to make a difference in the lives of others. That's
Right,
why I can sit down with you
right
and
on.
tell you my story. That's why I can have 15 or 20 guys between Florida and New York that are actual thriving DJs right now. They will tell you that I've given them a thumb drive with 1,000 songs on it,
Yeah.
giving away DJ equipment, giving them tips, giving parties, giving them parties to do. I got a guy right now, and I can't call his name, but he actually had a couple of songs on albums that were up for Grammys in the hip hop division this year, and he will tell you, he used to come to my Boys and Girls Club. I gave him his first party, paid party. Somebody asked me to do something. I'm like, I'm booked, but I got somebody for you.
That's what's
and when I used to give parties at the Boys and Girls Club, I would let him play a little bit. And I saw he had some skills. I was like, okay. So when he started DJing, he wanted to actually be a DJ. Somebody called me up. I said, you got equipment. I got a party for you.
You know
And
what?
he never,
I'm sorry. And then speaking of that, you were talking about the Boys and Girls Club. You did do a lot of coaching in sports with the children in the area. You've been a pioneer in that area for a long time. We're not going to let any of that go by today. We're already in overtime, you know what I'm saying, right here with the ice, you know what I'm saying, the cool water ice, you know what I'm saying? Talk about the Boys and Girls Club and what you got going on there.
well, for me, the Boys and Girls Club, it was an extension of my upbringing, because that's another thing that kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
Was Kips Bay Boys Club at the time.
Okay.
I got to play basketball or watch Eddie Pinkney, who ended up winning the national title with Villanova in the 80s and playing 10, 12 years in the NBA.
I remember him.
Yeah, I went from fourth grade to eighth grade, and then through the Boys and Girls Club with Fred Brown from Georgetown, who won a national title with Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, he threw the ball. He turned the ball over and threw the ball to old boy.
Don't be bringing that up, my man. Yep, that's my boy. And then Eddie Pinkney used to bring Chris Mullin to Soundview Big Park.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to see Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith, Rod Strickland, Kenny Anderson. My era of growing up in New York City, basketball wise, man, I got to see some of the greats. And a lot of them came through Kips Bay Boys Club.
Did you go to the Rucker growing up? Did you go to the Rucker a lot?
I went once in a while just to see, to see the games and this and that. I got to see Pearl Washington.
Yeah.
Kenny
Ooh.
Smith,
I'll pay to hear them stories.
Only time I got to see the Rucker, first time I got to see the Rucker was not. I'm well down the line, but those had
see the 80s for me, especially like during my high school years.
Yeah.
Tony Red Bruin, Richie Adams, who played for UNLV, Gary Springer. Yo, the list goes on and on. But when I got here, I went to school to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I did my practicum at a middle school. The little kid running around in the classroom, and the teacher couldn't control him. So I said, yo, man, won't you sit down so the teacher could teach? He's like, you ain't my father. You can't tell me what to do. I walked out the classroom because the first thing I could think of was my mother snatching him by the ear, or me snatching him by the ear and making his ass sit down. And I realized I couldn't do that.
Right.
So I went to school and I missed a turn. And I kept riding down this road. The next thing you know, I ran into a Boys and Girls Club. I was like, damn, I didn't even know this was here. Right. So I walked, started talking to the exec. Next thing you know, he invited me to come back to, to audition for the teen director position. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I came back. I got the job. So, and I told him, I said, look, they had one building. I said, you got to build a teen center because teens ain't supposed to be with elementary school kids. Right. So he told me, he said, you recruit 300 teens, I will build a teen center. And he gave me 2 years. In 6 months, I had 300 teens recruited, signed up and ready to come to the Boys and Girls Club. So he built a teen center. So because I knew how to recruit kids. I mean, I'm a big kid at heart. First of all, I'm the coolest at that time 40-year-old they would ever meet.
Right.
I'm a DJ. I'm an MC. And I play basketball.
Hey man, I coach kids right now. I feel the same exact way. They don't even understand.
Yeah, so it was like, for me, it was easy. And then once I saw the talent in the areas, but it was raw. And I'm sitting here going, why these kids can't make a layup with their left hand? How the hell you in high school? You can. So I took it upon myself because I learned from the best. I mean, so it was like, son, let me start, because I had my own Boys and Girls Club. I had a gym. I'm like, okay. And then this was the turning point for me. I had a 14-year-old girl come up in there. She was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I said, it didn't happen on my watch, but she came up in my building and she was pregnant. I said, No girl will ever get pregnant on my watch. I made everybody, when they got out of school, they did their homework. I'm like, everybody on the line. Everybody doing basketball drills. I don't care if you like it or not. Because my mentality was if the girls are sweaty, they ain't gonna get pregnant because the boys ain't gonna want to get with them.
Right, right.
And it also gave them something else to do.
Yeah.
And they actually started liking basketball. So, I started I was the first person to start a girls AAU program in this area. I coached the boys, but I taught the girls.
Right.
So as time went on, girls started getting better. And Choctaw High School, which was right next door to my Boys and Girls Club, they reaped the benefits. They went to state like 6, 7, 8 straight years. The head coach's daughter, Brittany Brown, she was like athletically insane. So my staff, we worked with her, taught her the fundamentals, left hand, right hand, this and that, and then gave her that mentality. She ended up playing starting guard at Florida State for 4 years.
Right.
She took Choctaw to the state championship game back-to-back years. I think they lost both. They lost both times, but just the fact that small school ended up going in.
Yeah.
I literally helped put at least 50.
Hey, she was just
kids.
at Florida State?
Yeah. She started at Florida State for 4 years. Brittany Brown.
Didn't your daughter play with Florida State? Dubb's daughter,
Say that again?
His daughter played with Florida State. They might have been teammates.
Well, she played. Man, I want to say in the 2000s, she's a starting point guard.
Oh, that's early. Okay, I got you. That's way before time.
She's now playing overseas somewhere.
But you know what? I can definitely the joy that you have because it came from your heart and your program. You know what I'm saying? It's wonderful to see those young athletes and that they came from within, the program, and they go and blossom.
And see, my mentality, like I told them, I'm going to train you. I'm going to give you the skills so that you could play in the NBA or the WNBA. But the objective is you to go to school for free. Right. Now, whatever you do after that, my objective is to get you in college on a 4-year scholarship. I put 50-something kids in college through basketball scholarships, boys and girls.
Absolutely. And
in the 50s.
Going back to that leadership that we were talking about earlier, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to commend you on that because I didn't, you got such a extraordinary life. You've touched a lot of people. People are fortunate enough to come across your path. Good things have happened.
Oh yeah,
I'm included. Our show
is put the work in.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to thank you for doing that, children. Hey, you know what? Since we left, man, I got into golf. I wish I was into golf more when I was down there.
That's the truth, because we got golf courses everywhere.
Man, if I would have been into it down there when I was out there, we could have been doing some like
that boy hit a hole in one.
I got a hole in one, fam.
First time playing golf.
I hear you.
I pull it up. Yep.
I've actually been golfing like with a couple of different jobs. I had, they have like a little golf tournament. Yeah. Man, my mentality was because I don't drink beer. They have beer at each hole.
Right.
So by the time I'm drunk, I'm like, check this out. I'm just gonna drive the cart. Y'all can play.
Right.
I with all the anyway.
Yeah. So I probably think about this mix because my auntie, she was a Black Panther in 2 different chapters.
Damn, my older sister.
Yeah, so I got a call. That's definitely something that we can touch bases on, but I want to make sure that you do a mix or something, and we can add that to the soundtrack to the video game.
Man, you know what? I want to take it further. We also had Stan the guitar man.
Stan the guitar man
on the show, and I was thinking like maybe we could get together and do co-production with you, Stan, myself. You know what I mean? Just make something absolute. You know what I mean? And one thing I wanted to ask, because I also didn't want to let this go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you check out Spotify, check out The Strangers music. They are very talented group. You know what I'm saying? A tight unit. Ice got them. You know what I'm saying? They work well together. Like they said, they had never met. They came together and they created a band of strangers. And from when I was there, they were the as you said, they were the Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five of the area. You guys were going to, what was that, Pensacola? and do shows.
Oh
And,
yeah, we opened up for Bones Thugs Harmony. We
yeah,
opened up for Boy and Sleepy Brown. We opened up for Naughty by Nature.
yeah,
Among others, and a lot of the quote unquote superstars. They's like, yo, y'all remind us a cross between the Wu-Tang and Goody Mob.
right, right.
Mm.
It's a very good show, man. It was impressive shit with Dubb. I was like, man, I
Hey,
want
do you, I work? I want to look at it. I mean, do you got anywhere I can go look at the show?
Well, go on YouTube and type in "The Strangers of Elevated Underground."
Yep,
Okay.
there you
Have
go.
video of live shows. Our songs or our videos are on there also.
Yep. After the
Okay.
show on Spotify, for you Spotify listeners, after you watch this, go ahead on and pull that right up on Spotify there or on YouTube.
Yeah, our newest release is called "I Knew." Is deep. Check it out. Basically, it's telling the story of the video we're about to shoot, and I'll give you a little bit of insight. It's gonna have like 6 young kids walk like so. One of them be supposed to be me walking around with headphones and this and that, and we talking about what we gonna be when we grow up. Basically, a DJ and rappers and this and that, and then it kind of it fast forwards to where we at now. That's what the song is about. I knew that I was good do this and do that, yada 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 yada. Um,
Right.
we have, like I said, there are 5 lyricists. Everybody has their own style. That's what makes it dope. Nobody sounds the same. Oblique, the architect, he's the brains behind it. I dubbed him. His name was Oblique. I dubbed him the architect because I'm like, this brother's like a puppet master. He pulling strings and doing this and that. He's the one that works the magic in the studio. Okay, I need your verse here. I need your verse there. Um, they would come to me and say, okay, after it was done, like I said, I don't drink beer, so they would buy me a beer and put me in my grandfather chair, and they would play the tracks. And I say, play the tracks without the music. Because I'm a DJ, if the track ain't moving, if I ain't nodding, that shit is weak. You might as well get rid of that track. Because I need something that make asses move.
So this can't have nothing that ain't hot. It got to
And
be
but like,
fire.
but when you have that type of,
I
when
would
you have
tell them,
that, yeah,
I would tell them, now play the vocals without the track.
right,
I want to hear what you're saying. And like Hollywood Mich would tell you, he couldn't stand me at first. Like, yo, you got to rewrite that shit. I step up your pen game.
Mhm,
And now because now he understands where I was coming from.
right,
Wardy, Wardy brings that New Orleans, that funk,
right,
that gumbo to it. His voice is deep. Price is analytical. I mean, he's gonna make you think, but from a whole different standpoint. And Thad, we call him the Mad Hatter.
right,
Thad is like, I don't want to say Thad is the gangster, but he's the roughneck out of the crew. He's the one that's gonna say, fuck Christmas is a pagan holiday,
yeah,
this shit. And then he's gonna explain it to you why. You
right,
know, and so when you bring all that together, and then me, I'm the DJ, but I'm the old school. So I'm not a DJ up there pressing buttons. I'm a DJ up there scratching and cutting and doing and incorporating different things into the show, and they know how to react to what I do because they'll come in with a set song list, and halfway through I'm like, something, hell with this, and I might throw in a break beat, an instrumental, so they automatically know I need 16 from everybody.
right,
We go push this up, let them know because a lot of dudes that make records, they don't know how to really do a show, and
right,
so everybody could do their record, but okay, now when I throw in this beat, what you gonna do? I don't want to hear a rhyme you got on the record. I always told them you have 5 or 6 rhymes in reserve that's not on record. Because where I come from, I was there when Busy B Starsky won the Harlem World Battle, and then Kumo D came on after him and said, "How many of y'all think Busy B rocked the house?" And everybody was like, "Yeah." He said, "That nigga ain't shit." And Kumo D went and ripped Busy B Starsky a whole new asshole. And Busy B Starsky came, he had nothing to say. He came back on the stage and it's on tape. He said, and that's why I'm on Kumo D's dick.
oh
Because
wow,
he had nothing left in reserve.
right,
Well, I told my boys, I said, if we go somewhere and we rock out and somebody say some shit, y'all coming back up on the stage and we letting them know we MCs. We not rappers. We're MCs. We can do this. We don't need to do our records. Ice could throw on a beat and we could go for an hour each. Rhyme for rhyme. How you want to do this? And that's what separates, to me, that's what separates the rappers from the MCs.
One thing that you said about that, right?
I like that. Rappers and MC. That's a T-shirt, baby.
Is great. One thing I wanted to tell the strangers, man, like, congratulations to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate y'all being focused in hip hop. You're very lucky you got Mike right there with you as a mentor and helping you go through it, man. It's very such a blessing to have. And it kind of reminds me of, we used to talk, man. I was in a hip hop band called the Urbanites back in the day, and we had live players and live 5 MCs, and Micahs would get up and play the drums and play the keyboard. Here up from the keyboard and play the drums, and shouts out to T-Rock right now, man. I want to give a shout to T-Rock and your health, and some prayers for you, all of my people. But it reminded me very much of the Strangers, my Urbanite band. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm bringing them up is because something. What is that, Papa? Can you hear that? There it goes. Oh, sorry about that. But it just reminded me of when you have that camaraderie and those different ideas, and everybody is in the concepts of being ready. I know about that because we had like a live 3-hour show, and the band would just break out. So when you're mentally ready and you're mentally strong, you know what I'm saying. Your music is good. You don't really have to worry about sales and hype and things like that, because when you got it, that's you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I learned when I saw when I was around you and your group years ago.
And see, they even people at outside of the Strangers, because I was giving shows. I had people from Pensacola all coming through singing spoken word, other hip hop artists and this and that and this. And I let them know before they get on the stage, okay, yeah, you gonna do your songs, but don't be surprised if I throw in a beat. Don't stand up there like you don't know what the hell's going on. You better spit something.
Right.
And even with our group, Thad'll be rapping, and I cut the music off.
Right.
To keep going.
Right.
Because what you saying is so profound. I don't want the music to play. I want them to hear what you saying.
Yeah.
And when you finish, everybody's like, damn, he was going off. And I'm like, and so the Strangers, like I said, they look at me, they're like, yo, we straight. He know what he doing back there.
Yeah.
We have a routine where we come out, and it just happened by accident.
Yeah.
Hollywood was saying, yo, I heard that, and I'm cutting up Last Time That I Checked by Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Right. He's like, yo, last time that I checked, last time that and everybody's like, oh shit. And he looks at me, he's like, yo, I say, yo, I got you. That's the hip hop in me. That's the essence of hip hop. Yes. Where at any time you can add something to it, change it up. And I have it built in me because I'm from the essence. Right. But I got artists all over. Mother Culliver, Faith, my man Rashawn Starworth. We got SOS in Fort Walton Beach. I put everybody on. I let them know, because hip hop is all about peace, unity, and having fun. Oh, y'all come to my functions. I never had to worry about no nonsense because they all know me. It's like, look, we coming to have fun. If you even thinking about drama, you better take that down the block around the corner, because I don't play that. Right. And I've never had any issues. We got people that come from out of town. They heard about Fort Walton Beach downtown, the Green Door. Yeah. Coming from out of town, stopping in Fort Walton Beach before they go wherever they're going. We heard you got it going on the hip hop tip. That's right, hip hop, not rap, not crap. Hip hop.
We here with the Ice, man. Ice, man, this is so great. Hey, you've been so accomplished, man, and everything that you do. And what are just because we are in overtime, you know what I'm saying? We just been going and going and going, man. We
hold on before we leave. Yeah. I gotta shout out to my man who lives out in Detroit.
Okay.
And Michigan, I don't know. I know he out somewhere in Detroit. He might be in a zoo where y'all at. I don't know. His name is LeBaron The Rock Collins. Right. He was with me on Eglin, and he actually invited me out there. I want to say it had to be in the 90s. I did his birthday party in Detroit. It was wintertime. Y'all can have that shit. It was downtown at a casino, The roads was fucked up. I'm like, yo, what this shit worse than the Bronx?
Yeah.
Yo, abandoned houses, all type of shit.
Yeah.
But I did his birthday party for him. I never forget it. And I know that part of the area, they into the house music, but I did a little bit of everything, and I had a great time, man. It was like, but yo, that weather, y'all could keep that shit. That's why
Yeah, Bill Strong being from Michigan with that type of stuff. Shouts out to Michigan. Hey, you know what? What I was gonna ask, would you ever take speaking of travel, would you ever take the strangers up to a New York City show?
that's one of the reasons why I do what I do with them.
Mm-hmm.
My objective is to get them either a major record deal, or at least get them in front of somebody that can say, yo, I'm gonna sign y'all or whatever. I'm trying to.
If you want me to help you, I can.
You might well go straight to Atlanta then. You ain't even gotta go.
No, we've done Atlanta. Oblique is from Atlanta. We've done a couple of small venues in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were small. I can't say who was there, if there was a mover or shaker there. But my dream is to get them to come to New York, and do a show there.
Do a circuit, nice little circuit around Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens.
Well, see, I think if I could get somebody to book us down there, all we got to do is one show. Everybody gonna show up, because I'm gonna call Jazzy Jay, I'm gonna call Kid Capri, I'm gonna call everybody down, the Funk Master, all these. I'm calling all of them and say, yo.
Talk about those guys. Like, shouts up to Kid Capri. What up, kid? Talk about them. Some of the Jazzy. And you know what? Before you do go, and I wanted to ask you, like I was saying, you had so many different accomplishments. What are, to you personally, what are some of your favorite accomplishments that you have already done? And something like you saying, some things that you look forward to seeing.
Well, I'll say it again. My favorite accomplishment is knowing that I made a difference in the lives of others. I ran a Boys and Girls Club. They were 14, 15, up to 18 years old. So now they're in their early 30s. Some of them have actually called me, paid for me to come to Atlanta, North Carolina, South Florida to do their wedding receptions.
Yeah.
So for me, knowing that if I had, let's say, 500 kids, that 450 of them are successful. And every time I see them, whether they're successful or not, they thank me for being the father figure that they didn't have, or being the second father, or just a OG that pointed them in the right direction. That, to me, is the greatest accomplishment, making a difference in the lives of others. I could say, the Hip Hop Museum, but I ain't getting no check with none of that shit. So it don't really, it is that's from something that I did directly. I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for it. But making a difference in the lives of others, to me, is the greatest accomplishment, because my legacy will live on through them.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, man. That's a great
Preach.
Hey, now look, before we get all going, we don't have to, but who would you recommend to be on the show?
I would probably say, and I'll get in contact with him and give him your number, because I know he goes out to Cali from time to time. Okay. My man, Dan. Geechee Dan from Queens, New York. He's best friends with LL Cool J. Yeah. He has a show on the Rock the Bells.
Yeah, I got his number. His name Geechee, always on there. That's E-Love Boy.
Geechee Dan? Okay,
yeah. We already got him on the list for that show.
But that's that's two recommendations.
Yeah.
He's got a show called I Got the Tapes. When I say this, brother, got over 200-something tapes of the pioneers performing, like I said, before records.
Yeah, you was trying to give me those tapes. I just wouldn't. I couldn't. Ice was trying to let me borrow the tapes back in like 6 years ago. And what I say to you, Ice? What I say, fam?
Oh man, that's legacy. I'm sitting here looking like, man, I can copy tapes at any time, man. But yeah, him, because he could also, he wasn't quote unquote directly involved during the origins, but he's helping to preserve the origins.
Right.
And that's why I told him, I said, whenever you need me, you call me. Because there are a few people that will just say they're pioneers and they're attempting to keep everything about them.
That's
And
real.
so he came along. He's the one that set it up that we got put in the DC Hip Hop Hall of Fame. He's the one that set it up that they flew me down to New York to be in the New York City quote unquote hip hop museum. This is him.
He cold. That's E Love boy. You know, E Love my best friend. So
now for the people
nice.
that don't have a voice or that are not being recognized. Don't get me wrong. I can't hate on Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five because they, like I said, they was those dudes.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't hate on Grandmaster Caz because he's one of the greatest MCs, lyricists ever. But there was a whole lot more to hip hop than those two groups.
Right.
You know, nobody ever talks about the Funky 4+1.
Shouts up to Jazzy Jeff, my man. I know about the Funky 4+1.
Yeah, see, and the Soul Sonic Force and the Jazzy Five and the I think a group that gets overlooked the most is the Fantastic Romantic Five.
You said a lot of names earlier. You said some names that was like before records, and I remember. In fact, if you were a purist of hip hop, you knew those routines and you heard some of those tapes. Because who was the first to put out those early tapes? It was a DJ.
It most likely was, if it wasn't Grandmaster Flash and it was the Funky 4+1, because I actually remember hearing Sha Rock on the tape early on. Early on. You know, then you got groups like the Crash Crew. I mean, there were other what is it? Master Dee and the Def Committee, the Force MCs. That's what they were called before they became the MDs and started singing full time. I mean, you got Busy B. Starsky, who to me is one of the they say that Grandmaster Caz, Grandmaster Melly Mel, and Kumo D are the three kings as far as the MCs are concerned. There's a fourth king, and his name is Busy B. Starsky.
When I lived in New York in the early days of my music industry business, I had the fortune to go up to the Bronx, and it was one of these reunions. When they used to have union shows, I don't know if it was something like but I remember it was like an oranges bar, like an oranges brown type of bar in the Bronx. Wasn't very big, real tight, but I remember meeting Busy, Love Bugs, Funk Flex, Kid Capri, Bismarck. I mean, like all the pioneers was up in the spot that night, and it was just like, have you ever seen like the camaraderie was ridiculous, you know? And it wasn't just the MCs; it was all the people who were the managers and the show promoters and the dancer, and it was one of those crazy times. But the thing about Busy B, I remember Busy B had one of the best personalities. He was walking around. Check it out, everybody. I'm Busy B, and I'm rocking right now in the place to be. What's up, little partner? What's going on, homeboy? He just had that, you know what I mean? That energy.
Let me tell you, Busy B could walk into a funeral.
Yeah.
You give him the mic, a party is starting.
A party would start.
He wasn't great. He might have had maybe 2 or 3 rhymes, but he was called the party rocker. And Chief Rocker Busy B. That's why
he was up in that spot with all these greats, and Busy was going down talking about he like the only one, and then that's how the party got started. He went up there, like, you know what we do back in the day, we be going and getting it down, chucking it around, and the DJ would be like tip, and he be talking that little, and next thing you know, that thing went incredible.
He had that voice.
He just had the energy, the hip hop, the pure hip hop energy, fam. You know what I'm
saying? And he, like I said, what's your favorite gene? What's your zodiac? I mean,
what's your zodiac song? What's your favorite bird?
He's a master of ceremony. He know how to rock a party, you know. But the thing is, a lot of these guys are not being mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
See, all you hear about is 1 or 2 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can't hate on them because they deserve that. Yeah. But nobody else. You would think that they might say, well, yo, you know, the Jazzy Five was there, the Soul Sonic Force was there, the Fantastic Five was there. I don't want none of your crumbs. I'm good where I'm at. You know,
They made breakfast.
This is the magic question we haven't asked all day. Do you still communicate with Afrika Bambaataa?
I'm gonna be nice when I say this, and I don't know, maybe you might,
Thing.
might edit this.
This is all keep it real. We keep it real.
He has legal issues.
Right.
And so he's kind of been out of sight. I could say, I mean, I don't live in New York, but I guess I could say for the past 5 to 10 years, for the most part, he has major legal issues that either he's dealing with or he's going to have to deal with sooner or later. And so he's kind of, I guess, slid out of the limelight. So I guess I'll say so hip hop won't get dragged down.
Let me ask you a question, because we give props for what Bam gave to the game, definitely for everything that you've done.
Definitely.
But with your affiliation with them, do you think that I'm gonna say tarnish your legacy? Because it can, because it's gone.
No, like you say,
I'm asking Ice, because I'm gonna ask you how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying?
I think, let me put it this way, the legacy, no.
Okay.
As far as like with this 50th anniversary, as far as possibly getting shows, I would probably say I'm about maybe 75% because it may not have been the Jazzy Five on the show, but there's no way in the world you can have a 50th anniversary without having a Soul Sonic Force there. Planet Rock is one of the most, after The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
They're a 1A, 1AA. They're right there.
Influential hip hop.
Planet Rock to this day.
Planet Rock birthed freestyle music. It birthed electronic funk. Just the track. We not even talking about the rapping.
Right.
That song alone birthed three.
Check this out. You remember my girl Dee Dee, right? Dee Dee said when Planet Rock dropped in Orlando, they played Planet Rock on the radio nonstop 3 days. Just that song.
Yeah. So to me, there's nowhere in the world you could have a 50th anniversary of hip hop and not have Soul Sonic Force there.
I agree.
And I know for a fact that I know the couple of shows that they had in New York City, they weren't quote unquote invited. And it's like, how do you have that without now? And so in that instance, in that case, I could say being affiliated with him quite possibly is the reason why. I can't say it's the sole reason, but that's quite possibly the reason why the Soul Sonic Force didn't get the love they were supposed to get. The Jazzy Five, I could say a little bit, but see, we were kind of like the black sheep of the music industry, because once Tommy Boy jerked us, Chuck Freezer's ready to, let's just say, tear up the office and do this and do that. And my mentality was, I like being an MC, but I always wanted to be a DJ. And, I was in college. So it was like, it don't make me no difference. If this don't work, I know I got something else to fall back on. And that's exactly how I live my life, so it didn't bother me, but I know, like I said, for the Soul Sonic Force, there's no way in the world you have a 50th anniversary of anything and not have Soul Sonic Force headlining every, and put it this way, because you had the Jazzy Five, you had the Soul Sonic Force, you had the Cosmic Force, who nobody really gives too much love to under Afrika Bambaataa.
Right.
One of those three was supposed to be on at least 50% of the hip hop 50 celebrations. Okay. I don't care whether it was on the Grammys, television, the Yankee Stadium, wherever, whoever, however. If you having a real hip hop celebration, one of us is supposed to be on that, because nobody can't say, if you take away his issues, Bambaataa is actually the true definition of hip hop. He's the master of records. If there are 1,000 break beats, Bam pulled out 750 of them, and it ain't even close. His library, his musical library right now is either in the Library of Congress, is somewhere where you could actually go and pull the records out and play them on a turntable.
Wow.
and he's got literally 100 crates, 200 crates of records. He was the master of records. He brought out break beats that people would that nobody never even thought of. He found this and that and that and this, and it ain't even close. He epitomizes what hip hop was. They could say Herc was the first to do this. Herc was the first to do that. I can't say whether he was or whether he wasn't because I wasn't hanging out in '73. But Bambaataa embodied hip hop.
Wow.
Music.
Wow.
He took the black space from the black space to the Zulu Nation. Zulu Nation is worldwide.
I'm gonna go listen to Planet Rock to get off of this episode.
Planet Rock, looking for the perfect beat. Come on, play that beat. I mean, come on, man. Yo, and so, like I said, he has issues, stuff that he has to deal with, that he has to answer to. But there's nowhere in the world you have a 50th anniversary of hip hop and the Soul Sonic Force. I ain't see it, and I ain't talking about me and the Jazzy Five.
Right.
There's no way the Soul Sonic Force is not supposed to be on at least 50% of the anniversary shows that they was having. There's no way.
That's why you hear Ice right here on I'm From the Zoo. That's saying we getting the real deal.
Why KRS-One said no.
Hip Hop Museum, DC Hall of Famer, New York City Hip Hop Museum Hall of Famer, Bronx Hip Hop Museum Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer to me, man. Great person, man. Mr. Ice, man. We could go on another 4 hours, I'm sure.
My wife ended up killing me because I ain't get dinner started. That's
gotta get it right.
That's what happens when you kind of tired and she's still working and this and that. When she come home, dinner better be done.
Well, what I want to do, I do want to catch up with you for give you those songs and get your expertise on this Black Panther thing, and then also to put that on the soundtrack whatever you want to do with it. Just working with you is an honor. So
let me think. I know with the Strangers. Oh, we definitely got a song for the Black Panther soundtrack. Matter of fact, if you send me an email, I might be able to send it through the phone, the Mich phone number. I think it's called Black. It's Oblique featuring this other kid in Fort Walton Beach. It's deep. They sampled in a Martin Luther King speech. I mean, like I said, when because I think it's on my phone, and if it's on my phone,
hear they production, man. They production be crazy, bro. Like
I get up the phone. That's the perfect song for the Black Panther soundtrack. I mean, and we got some other songs off of the Brotherhood Built. If you go to YouTube, type in "The Strangers Are Elevated Underground." The album is on there. The new songs on there. I mean, I knew all type of stuff is on there. But and the songs from the album that might work. What is it? Master P might work because basically we talking about Black people starting their own business and keeping the money within the community. Pay Attention might fit because it's basically talking about if you watch the video that's on YouTube, the name of the song is called Pay Attention. Basically talking about the youth. You got to pay attention to what you do. You lead by example as well as by word of mouth and this and that. And it's kind of deep. The video is deep. When you watch the video, you'll definitely get it.
No doubt.
Hey, man.
So yeah, let's put that together. Let's make that happen, man.
Definitely, man. You know what? Like, I wanted to thank you for much for being, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Guest on our show, but also for your candidacy. Talking about Bambaataa, because I agree. Hip hop is subjective a little bit to what everybody wants to say, and I really appreciate coming from someone that is actually from the South Bronx. You grew up in the culture. Your brother was a historic MC with Jazzy Jay. They used to run around and go battle and do things, and then all of a sudden you were invited by Afrika Bambaataa himself to be in the crew, to be in the Zulu Nation, and to being a leader that you knew from your home training, you know what I'm saying? And you took those skills and you got a chance to go all over the world to be with the best of the best, brought that game down to Florida, built your whole empire down there with new people and guided children and got a whole new group, brought it back to hip hop. Man, even got a chance to meet you Mike Mission to be in between, you know what I'm saying? Ice
Oh
Man.
yeah.
So I'm just really honored, man, to know you as a brother, man. I'm really happy to, to have known you all these years and we've been in contact, and it's like you've been a resource for me, man, energy when we talk about that early hip hop, you know what I'm saying, and future hip hop, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the truth. You know it. Like I told you, man, I'm humble
Yeah.
and I feel like I've been put on this planet to make a difference in the lives of others. So I have no problem with lending a helping hand, giving advice. I got some years on this planet and I've definitely been through some things. So I have no problem with giving advice or giving my point of view. I was always taught, you take in whatever, you take what you need, the rest of it you go out the other air. You let it
That's
go out
right.
the other air. So you do what you're gonna do.
The
But
final thing here, we're gonna let you give all your links that people can connect with you, and you more than welcome to come back again
mhm,
whenever.
Yeah.
More,
Part two. Matter of fact, we got to get a part two from him.
I got
absolutely.
you. I got you.
Let us know your
Um,
let everybody know the links, whether it's music links, YouTube, uh, websites, whatever you have.
I'm just gonna basically I guess it's like what www dot the strangers are elevated underground.com.
Okay.
I personally don't have any links like that because I'm more of a I like being in the background. I'm trying to get them out and get the other artists that I know out. Um I'm 62, man. I ain't trying to be no hip hop star or nothing like that. I told them if I get y'all to the
You
mountaintop,
already
yo,
a
just
you
mention my name, and send a brother a check, and I'm good.
that's real right there.
Yeah, you know it. But yeah, like I said, their music, our stuff is on YouTube. The Strangers are Elevated Underground is on all the streaming platform and services. Um, and I guess whatever, just look up The Strangers are Elevated Underground. I'm a part of Invisible Soul, which is basically we produce music. Me and my man Joe Palazzo, skinny white boy, who people look at and go, man, what is it? And then they hear him pick up the guitar and play, and he put you to tears. He
uh,
ain't no joker. He's actually on tour right now with Kelly Price, MC Light. He a bad boy. And see, he's another one I had to, he put down his guitar for a while because he was working in a recording studio. And I looked at him. I wanted to smack him in his head, but I told him, I said, let me explain something to you, man. That's like me putting down my turntables.
yeah.
I said, you use the guitar to make your money so you don't have to work anyplace else. That's supposed to be your source of income. He picked it back up. He moved from Fort Walton Beach to Pensacola, from Pensacola to Mobile, started gigging in New Orleans. Now he running around on tour, like I said, with Kelly Price,
Yeah.
MC Light, doing all types of gigs with jazz, nationally known jazz artists and this and that. He a bad boy. We produce. He does a lot of the production and then
Saw
he'll
that
send it to me
picture that you
and
had
I give him I
installed.
give him the input.
That's great, man. Hey, that and man, you know what? I know if you working close with them and everything, man, and one more thing, want to shout out for your group, man. Talk about your boys, man, before you go. Your
Oh
man.
man, my boys. First of all, the big brother right in the front, Chuck Freeze with the afro. Rest in peace. He was the crazy one out of the group. He was like a big teddy bear. AJ Les, the slim tall brother next to him. He was the last guy that actually joined the group, but he's a real cool brother. Master B, next to Les, he and I are like the founders of the Jazzy Five. We both were down with the Soul Sonic Force at the same time. We kind of joined at the same time. And the crazy thing is, he has a twin brother, and I have a brother. I had a brother that was 1 year younger than me, and our mothers were best friends. So we used to walk around looking like the damn Bopsy twins, um, all four of us and this and that. So we kind of grew up knowing each other. And then Master D, he was the singing MC. He's still good. I think he lives up in Connecticut. He also has his own tax business. Everybody's surviving, doing what it is they got to do to make ends meet. And then there's your boy, yours truly, the smoothest DJ in charge, Cool Ice Water,
Yeah, right.
aka the Master Ice.
And that is the Jazzy Five MCs, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
and I forgot the original
Yeah.
Imperial Master DJ Jazzy Jay. Can't
DJ.
forget my brother.
Can we get Jazzy Jay on the show? That would be absolutely fabulous too, yo.
Like I said, what I'll do, I'll give him your number. He's very selective
Yeah.
Because he be on tour, man. He'll call me, man, I'm in Africa,
Yeah.
DJing. I'm like, Lord have mercy. He be all over the place, you know. And then the other thing is, a lot of people don't know there are a lot of people behind the scenes as far as DJ equipment.
Yes.
You know, I called him up. I'm like, yo, okay, with Serato and this and that. He works with Serato. He
Yeah.
works with the needles. He works with these people are cutting him checks. He's a person that gives them his expertise. The turntables, the needles. Like I said, he's a carpenter. He was making speakers back in the damn 70s and 80s. So he's doing his thing.
That's good. Man, Ice, this has been terrific, man. Just like I envisioned it would be. We really appreciate you being on the show, bringing that authenticity to us, and with your insight. And congratulations on being a Hall of Famer, triple
Thank
OG,
you.
OG. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We got Florida. Y'all need to put him in the Hall of Fame down there. Just saying, might as well follow the path of the other cities. And once again, brother, man, we can't wait we're gonna reach out to you with Dubb. I'm gonna make sure you guys connect. And
definitely.
I am, since we talk about that, I am looking up for a soundtrack, fam. I know you don't do very much work outside the strangers these days, but maybe we could be blessed to work on that project together. That would be
Yeah,
great.
no problem.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I know we all gotta go, but we don't want to. But is there anything final that you wanna, shout out to everybody out there?
Well, okay. I definitely want to shout out my home base Soundview Projects, the Jazzy Five MCs, um, and shout out the Fort Walton Beach Crestview area. The Strangers are elevated underground. My brothers from another mother, um, and hip hop as a whole. Hip hop came from we weren't allowed downtown in the Manhattan, and that was a gazillion-dollar business. It's funny how country, rock, all the other genres, they was looking at us like we was crazy. And now country and rock, they all taking bits and pieces of hip hop and putting it into their genres. So what started like my man Grandmaster Caz, we didn't invent anything, we reinvented everything. Hip hop started in the hood, in the streets of the South Bronx, because we wasn't in the disco and we wasn't wearing no damn white suits going downtown. They wouldn't allow us into their clubs and this and that because we were too young. And so hip hop was basically for the young people, and James
All
Brown and
right.
Parliament Funkadelic and everything else. We took the B, we stole our parents' records and played the B sides and the funk and this and that, and we started a genre called hip hop. And it went from the South Bronx down into Manhattan to the world. And it's still growing strong.
And we got a pioneer who is right there in the action to start. We're so blessed right here.
Hey Ice. You
Yo.
are hip hop, my brother.
Hip hop, brother.
Oh, I know. Trust me on that. I definitely know that.
Hey, we don't want to go right now, but this has been a fabulous show. You can check us here on Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Right here, I'm Mike Michigan, your host on I'm From the Zoo with my brother
Dubb.
and our very special guest, Mr. Bernard Hayward, the Ice Jazzy Five MC, originator, the leader, strangers, producer, DJ, guru, the OG. Man, it's been a pleasure to have you, brother, man. Thank you so much, man. Hey, we can't wait to talk to you again. Hey, we don't want to go. We want to get out of here though now. Shouts out to Rich Vision, my homeboy, Marmar doing his thing, point of view. Hey, I'm from the zoo. Come through network. B-Dubb, Mike Mich. We out. See y'all next time.
Shouts out to Napalm.
Kiki, take us out.
I can't stress right now. No. Remix. I can't stress right now. I can't stress right now. I can't stress right. Every time I walk, I'm an algorithm. Buddha Cosmos with the street rhythm. Slide in the spaceship to the day. Everything we touch makes history. My vibe's so great, it's an energy. family. I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress right now. I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress right now. I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress right now. I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress, I can't stress right now. I can't stress, I can't stress,